What is going on, CDL fans, and welcome back to the Power Rankings. Today is April 23rd, and we're going to be updating the rankings after week 2 of Major 3 qualifiers. And don't forget to sub to the channel if you like CDL content. We're on the road to 5K subs, and I appreciate the support. But let's kick right into these Power Rankings, because this week is actually pretty interesting. So starting it off at the bottom, it's the Boston Breach. I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. This team has not gotten a win. They obviously have made roster changes. Overall, this team just does not look good. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. Boston Breach gonna stay at 12 until they can finally find themselves getting a win. Then at number 11, falling 3 spots, is the LA Gorillas. I had them up a bit higher after Major 2, and since then they have continued to fall, and now they are second from the bottom. I know even some people would have Boston over LAG currently, but for me, Boston doesn't even have a win. LAG at least was decent on LAN. So I'm going to keep giving them a little bit more respect over Boston, but either of these teams could move around based on how they do in the coming weeks. Then at number 10, another team that has not moved, it is the Miami Heretics. They started off their split by winning their first game, and then they went 0-2 this past weekend. I don't think they're worse than these two other teams, so they're going to be sticking in right at 10. And above them, I think this is probably the first time this team has been out of the bottom 3 in a very, very long time. It is the Seattle Surge, up 2 spots. Listen, man, I'm going to say it. The move for the 04 coming in for Arcides actually changed the way this team seems to play. At least when you watch them play, they're really not slaying, which is pretty interesting, but they're still able to win. I mean, they won 3 respawns in their 3-1 victory over the New York Subliners this past weekend, which is absolutely insane. So even despite them not really outslaying their opponents, they're still able to get wins. So the teamwork seems to be there a lot better than their previous roster. 04 hasn't been the most insane rookie, right? Like, he hasn't looked that insane. I think he makes a lot of great plays. And this team overall just seems to be working. So major shout out to the Seattle Surge, up 2 spots into number 9, outside the top 3 for the bottom 3 for the first time in a while. Then up above them, up 1 spot, I do have the Minnesota Rocker. You could flip-flop these teams if you want. I just am not ready to jump Surge up 3 spots. I'm trying to keep the rankings, somewhat fair and somewhat like, you're not going to jump up 5 to 6 spots, in 1 week sort of deal. So we're going to keep it Minnesota Rocker up 1 to number 8. They got their first win over the Boston Breach this past weekend. They have 2 losses, both to FAZE and Subliner, so top 4 teams. And Rocker just look like they're probably slightly on the up. Then in number 7, our last team in the bottom 6 on the right side of the board here, we do have the Las Vegas Legion down 1 spot. They played once this weekend. They got obliterated by OPTIC Texas. It wasn't even close. This team looked absolutely lost since dropping Purge and bringing in ASIM. It was only 1 series, so that's why they're not dropping much farther. But they just, I don't know what's up with this Legion team. They literally looked like they had no idea what they were doing on the map. I mean, you saw OPTIC Texas. Shotzi was like, what are these guys doing in the interview after? Pred was like, what are these guys doing in the face cams after the series? This team needs to figure it out, because I don't want to see them fall, honestly. I like this Legion team. I love Dylan Attach, and I want to see them succeed. But for now, I have them dropping to 7 with the Royal Ravens coming up into number 6, up 1 spot. So these two flip-flopping in spots. The Ravens took down the New York Subliners. This team looks solid. Gwyn is clearly Rookie of the Year. I mean, this guy, if Ravens were a top 4 team, Gwyn would probably be in the MVP race. That's just how good he's playing. But once these guys continue to iterate on their gameplay, the way they're looking now that they're in their facility or their apartment, whatever, playing together, kind of emulating that land environment a little bit more, they just honestly look really good. There's still plenty of improvements that need to be made for this team, right? They need to find consistency, especially in Search and Destroy, get more kills to help out Gwyn. But for now, they're on the up, and you can't really ask for much more. Then at number 5, not moving, it is the LA Thieves. My LA Thieves, we're looking good, man. We continue to look good. We're one of only 2 undefeated teams right now in Major 3 qualifiers. I really, really do believe LAT should go 6-1 this qualifier. Our only loss should come to OPTIC Texas, in my opinion. Even if we go 5-2, that's still really good. But LAT, I think, are clear the 5th best team, in my opinion. They've just been proving it. They weren't the greatest on LAN. So if you really did want to switch Ravens and Thieves, I wouldn't really argue with you about it. But for me, I got Thieves at 5. And now we get into our top 4, where there has been a change. I'm going to put all of them on the screen. It is the New York Subliners switching places with the Toronto Ultra. Now, let me just preface this, right? I know Ultra got choke slammed, like absolutely mollywopped by Atlanta FaZe. But New York Subliners lost to 2 teams outside the top 4. So for that very reason, they have to fall, right? They were 3, they have to fall to 4, which means Ultra is going to move up, obviously, right? If New York falls, Ultra is going to take their spot. So not really like, don't look at this as like, oh yeah, Ultra's on the way back up because they're moving up. More, this is because New York is on the way down. As you can see underneath me on the little like headline things I have down there, New York is falling, man. I'm not personally ready. I know some people are going to say that. I'm not personally ready to drop them outside the top 4. I know they lost to Surge. I know they lost to Ravens. It's only been 2 weeks, right? We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. If this next week they lose to it, I don't know who they're actually playing this week. Just check. So they play Atlanta FaZe last match on Sunday for this week, their only matchup. So even if they lose that, I don't know that I can drop them outside the top 4, honestly. It's pretty clear that these are the top 4 teams. I know they had a rough couple weeks. So, I mean, unless like Ravens or Thieves come out in like 3-0, double 3-0, whatever happens this weekend, maybe you can move them above the New York Subliners, but it's definitely going to be tough to drop New York out of the top 4 because we all know they're definitely good. But if they continue to lose, especially to a team that's outside the top 4, they're definitely going to fall. But for now, I'm giving them benefit of the doubt. Like I said, I'm letting them have this free pass or 2 free passes. But that's probably going to be about it from me. So I'm not dropping them outside the top 4. You guys let me know in the comments if you would drop them. But these are my power rankings after week 2 of Major 3 qualifiers. Honestly, the league is in an interesting spot right now, right? We might have some shifts in the top 4, right? We might be seeing New York falling or maybe even Toronto falling. LAT's looking good. Legion's looking good. Surge is on the up. Rocker Miami could even be seen as on the up. So right now, we're in a pretty interesting spot in the league. I mean, teams are fighting for champs qualification. So this is exactly what we want to see. And I'm really excited for us to get to Major 4 or Major 3 and then Major 4 and then champs, which I will be at champs. Let me know if you're going to champs down in the comments. But these are my rankings. Let me know what you agree and disagree with. Drop a like on the video and sub for more CDL content. Hopefully, I'll see you all in the next one.